Part 104. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1032. The Netherworld Road appeared, towering over the heavens, and a majestic voice sounded. At this moment, everyone in the grey mist sea felt a kind of panic originating from their souls. What road is that? Why do I feel like I want to take refuge, want to worship? Is it reincarnation? Everyone was shocked. Many creatures in the grey mist couldn't help but kneel down and worship the Netherworld Road. Reincarnation appears, and all living beings feel it. The people of Beiwu ancestral realm were also shocked. Nanfeng, Ziling, and the rest of the group also had serious expressions on their faces. It's actually reincarnation. Duguyuking murmured. The power of reincarnation. The existence on the forbidden ancient road has really begun to steal the power of reincarnation. Many disciples were whispering. They are all unfamiliar with reincarnation, so now, it is directly confirmed that what appears now is truly reincarnation. Wow, what appears in the underworld is just a small reincarnation, this is the real big reincarnation. Big black dogs have dark eyes. Finally, the Netherworld Avenue came across the entire grey fog sea. In that Netherworld, the endless aura of underworld filled the air, and finally condensed into 4 big characters. The end of all paths. At this moment, it seems that there is an unknown power of reincarnation exerted on the body at the end of the world. Her figure was actually somewhat blurred. When Yun-11 saw this, his big eyes were filled with anxiety. When he raised his hand, the light of the butterfly enveloped Wandao Dingman. However, the colorful light did not block the call of reincarnation. The great reincarnation built by the Master is used to deal with the source. It surpasses everything. Even the most powerful people will perish once they are enveloped by reincarnation. The big black dog murmured in a low voice. Wow, unless the Master takes action personally, no one in the world can stop him. Ah, butterflies can't do it? Take this piece of jade quickly. Yungzi handed the red dust jade to Wandao Ending. But Wandao Dingman smiled faintly and said. No need, this jade belongs to you, so just give me the money. Yun-11 was startled, money. But she immediately realized that what Wandao Dingman was talking about, should be the reincarnation money made by Li Fan. As soon as she thought about it, a yellow copper coin appeared immediately in the Dao scenery, and she handed it to Wandao Ending. Wandao Ending took the reincarnation coin, and suddenly, the yellow copper coin glowed faintly, and her figure immediately stabilized and no longer faded away. After this battle, the black hand that has robbed the power of reincarnation should also pay attention, and it is time for me to get on my way. She looked towards the Netherworld Road and said. In the great reincarnation of the past, there were 10 kings of hell, as well as the 2 kings Kasidagarba and Ziwei, a total of 12 people. The 12 people were in charge of reincarnation. After the reincarnation was broken, the Great Seal of Reincarnation, which contained the authority of reincarnation, was left to the 12 of them. Take it with you and return to the Beiwu ancestral world. The former 10 palaces of Yama, Kasidagarba, and Ziwei should all be gone, and the Great Seal of Reincarnation is easy for anyone to hold. If you want to rebuild reincarnation, in addition to turning the sea of grey mist into a world of white mist, you also need to find the right person in this world, obtain the former fruit flavors of the 10 palaces of hell, Kasidagarba, and Ziwei, and retrieve the seals of the 12 directions, then the Lord of Reincarnation should reappear. Zhongli frowned slightly and said. So, we still need to find 12 suitable people. Wandao Ending smiled and said. Aren't there 12 mentally ill people in the village? Back then, I placed the red dust jade in their sea of consciousness. Over countless years, they have been almost influenced by the breath of reincarnation and recognized by reincarnation. Well, when the time comes, let them pull out some more ghost teeth and practice the ghost way. That's it? Hearing this, everyone suddenly realized. They didn't expect that the 12 mentally ill people in the village were actually one of the backup men behind 10,000 Ways End. From this point of view, from the moment she left the red dust jade and divided it into 13 pieces, she was preparing for the reappearance of reincarnation today. Traveling across the world is just part of welcoming the great reincarnation. She also prepared 12 strong men for reincarnation, who could replace the former 10 palaces of hell, Ksadagarba and Zaiwei. The overall situation of eternity, the overall situation of eternity. Zhongli couldn't help but say, every drop at the end of Wandao is extremely crucial. It's really well intentioned. This round of reincarnation has already begun eons ago. In this life, the winner will be revealed. Amazing. Ziling, Lin Jujhan, and everyone else were very emotional. But Wandao ending smiled and said, reincarnation is just the beginning. After saying that, she turned around and headed towards the Netherworld Road. Everyone was puzzled. The big black dog murmured. She has to stand in front. This great turmoil in the grey mist sea will attract the attention of the Black Hands who have robbed the power of reincarnation. If she doesn't stand in front, once those people find out that the master is back, eternal efforts may be in vain. Hearing this, everyone fell silent. I have been fighting fiercely all my life, even if I only have one thought left, I still stand in the front. For the overall situation of reincarnation, Wandao ending is a well-deserved chess player. Every move she makes affects the future. But for a more terrifying overall situation, she is willing to be a pawn. Under the gaze of everyone, the end of the road is heading towards the road to the netherworld. Correct. Suddenly, Wandao stopped at the end of the road and said towards Yungzi. You cook or he cooks? Yun 11 shook his head and said. He cooks, I cook, it tastes terrible, but his cooking is super delicious. Wandao ending smiled and murmured. I practice Wandao, but I don't learn how to cook, because he said that he will cook in the future. He did it? She seemed to have no regrets, she was free and easy, and embarked on that dark road. The endless light of reincarnation overwhelmed her. That is the power from the great reincarnation, which was once used by the one to counter the source. All the strongest people in the world cannot escape or resist. Her figure disappeared. Immediately, the terrifying road to the underworld and the phantom of the underworld disappeared, as if they had never appeared. The vast sea of grey fog became extremely quiet, as if everything had disappeared. Is she gone? With Master's reincarnation money here, she should be fine. Everyone was a little sad. And Yungzi said, no matter what evil forces are ahead, in this life, defeat them. Her big eyes were full of determination, and her beautiful fists were clenched. Others nodded. Practice hard and conquer everything. Wu Dade said. Ahem, everyone, it's time for us to pack up our prey and return to the village to have a feast, right? Hearing this, everyone broke away from their slightly heavy emotions. Yes, let's go back to the village and have a feast. They collected all the true ancestor-level ingredients harvested this time. At the same time, Zhongli, Ziling, Subakian, and Lin Jujhan took action to help the army of the Beiwu ancestral realm and push down the entire Grey Mist Sea. This war, in a sense, is just a military training exercise. Now, the military training is almost over. Miss Yungzi, we are preparing to rebuild the Wild Sky Alliance. Huo Linger and Mu Jianing spoke to Yun 11 and the others. Nowadays, the Beiwu ancestral realm has spread all over the world, and the temple of sacrifice has collapsed. Naturally, a new organization is needed to concentrate the power of the ancestral realm. Moreover, when they were leaving, Senior Li instructed them to help the Oath-Keeping Valley. Obviously, he wanted them to rebuild the Wild Sky Alliance. So good. Yun 11 nodded and said. We are going back to the village to have a party, will you come with us? Huo Linger and Mu Jianing smiled, shook their heads and said, "Thank you, Miss Yun. Let's take care of the situation first. As for food, we have enough here." They looked at the endless creatures in the grey mist sea. In this battle, there were countless casualties in the grey mist sea, and many powerful tribes surrendered directly. They were going to keep them in captivity, and eat them slowly. "Okay, let's go back to the village first." Yongzi spoke. Immediately, they got up and left with the corpses of many true ancestors. "I've been driving and haven't had time to post. It's a bit late. Good night." Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xian. Chapter 1033. And at this moment, on the mysterious and forbidden ancient road, the 10th Source Clan, the Palace of Reincarnation. Haha, that lingering thought at the end of 10,000 paths has been involved in reincarnation, she is finished. In the main hall, the forbidden lord of the 10th Source Clan laughed. In his hand, there is an extra residual seal. The residual seal looks like it was made of yellow jade. It is simple and majestic. It has gone through countless years. It is deep and mysterious and seems to contain unimaginable power. This is part of the Great Seal of Reincarnation. Just now, it was the Forbidden Lord who held this square seal and opened the road to the netherworld of reincarnation. This object seems to have something to do with reincarnation. Well, if I am not mistaken, this thing contains the true meaning of reincarnation. It seems that a real reincarnation has been born. At this time, the dog-headed Taoist opened his mouth and said, "I didn't expect that even though your qualifications are dull, you have such a treasure." Its eyes narrowed. After hearing this, the lord of the Forbidden City couldn't help but admire the dog-headed Taoist even more, and said, "Senior, your eyes are as bright as a torch. You are indeed an expert with unique insights into reincarnation." He paused and said, "To be honest, Senior, this object contains the power of reincarnation, and it can also open up a broken underworld. As long as you completely control this thing, the broken underworld will be repaired. At that time, the yin and yang will be reversed, life and death will be exchanged, and the reincarnation of the living will be completed." He didn't hide it and directly stated his purpose. Countless years ago, this great seal of reincarnation fell to the 10th Source Clan from nowhere. Then, countless ghosts who escaped from reincarnation followed after him. Under the guidance of those ghosts, the 10th Source Clan agreed to cooperate with them. Their purpose is to rebuild reincarnation. After the reincarnation is re-established, the Forbidden Master of the 10th Source Clan can become the Reincarnation King, one of the 10 kings of hell in the ancient reincarnation. Hearing this, the dog-headed Taoist shook his head and said, "You don't have enough control over this great seal. If you can't kill Wandao ending, you may even suffer from it instead." Hearing this, the lord of the Forbidden City was a little pleased and said, "Master, I admit that you are very knowledgeable about reincarnation, but you have not seen the power of reincarnation. Reincarnation can kill all the strong men in the world. Don't say that the end of 10,000 paths is just a residual thought. Even if her true body is still alive, she can't resist reincarnation. Haha, now her residual thought should have been dissolved into telepathy by reincarnation and become nourishment for the adults in the underworld. Reincarnation can kill the thought at the end of 10,000 paths, and the power of that thought will be introduced into the ruined underworld. And in the dilapidated underworld, there are old ghosts who have escaped from reincarnation. The old ghosts must be happy to have absorbed the telepathy power of 10,000 paths, and, when the time comes, they will be able to appear and give themselves some guidance," he thought happily. "But, right now, it was you who started reincarnation and put 10,000 ends in." In the Wheel of Fortune Palace, a pair of terrifying ghost eyes suddenly appeared, staring at the Lord of Wheels. The Lord of the rotating Forbidden City stood up and said, "Lord Chi, that's right. Sirs, are you still satisfied with the power of telepathy at the end of 10,000 paths? He was looking forward to it. But the ghost's eyes suddenly burst out with astonishing anger, saying, I'm satisfied with U%, \U0026 UN%. This old guy started swearing right away. Trash. Do you know that you put the end of 10,000 paths into the already broken underworld, and she penetrated the broken underworld, and now she has left and gone deeper into the ancient road. You humming, led the wolf into the house. Do you know that we are dormant in the ruined underworld? This time, we have lost the protection of countless reincarnation breaths and lost 10,000 years of life. This ghostly sound is simply, gnashing of teeth, hating the forbidden lord to the extreme. Each great seal of reincarnation is connected to another underworld. However, after the collapse of reincarnation, the underworld was also broken. Those ghosts that have escaped from reincarnation cannot directly appear between heaven and earth, especially some scary old ghosts with too high status. If they appear in the outside world, their own power will continue to disappear. They can only lie dormant in the broken reincarnation, using the remaining reincarnation energy in the broken reincarnation to protect themselves and wait for the reincarnation to be rebuilt. By controlling the reincarnation, they can exist forever. However, now they are disturbed. The end of 10,000 paths has broken the broken underworld, causing them to almost all short life. That's why he rushed forward to investigate. Hearing this, the rotating Forbidden Lord was immediately dumbfounded. What? Not only is Xuanhuan ending not dead. He even penetrated the ruined underworld. I don't know, I just used the power of the Samsara seal to suppress her lingering thoughts. How could she not be dead? The Forbidden Lord simply felt, unbelievable. The power of reincarnation can kill all the strong men in the world. Ignorance, there must be something related to that person in her hands. Even reincarnation can't do anything to her. The ghost's eyes were filled with anger. Hearing this, the lord of the wheeling forbidden city looked very ugly and said, Then, what should we do now? Ghostly eyes, he said. What should we do? You must control the authority of the Will King as quickly as possible. The Lord of Rotation Forbidden looked a little ugly and said, But, the ceremony is not ready yet. Although he has obtained the Great Seal of Reincarnation, in order to fully control it, he needs to complete a ritual. For so many years, he has been comprehending, but he only understood a general idea, and it was still far away from implementation. You don't have to worry about this. The old ghost hiding in the ruined underworld spoke. In the nether void land, the deduction has been completed. A messenger has come from the depths of the ancient road. All you have to do is follow his instructions. He should be almost here. The land of Netherworld is extremely mysterious. It was a place created by old ghosts who escaped from reincarnation. Several old ghosts with the deepest insight into reincarnation and the most terrifying cultivation have been deducing the rituals of controlling reincarnation in the Nether Void Land. It can be said that the Nether Void Land is the core of the entire Forbidden Ancient Road. Hearing this, the Lord of the Wheeling Forbidden City couldn't help but be overjoyed and said, As you command, I will do my best. Immediately, the ghost eyes disappeared. The next day, reporting to the Lord of the Forbidden City, a guest is visiting, claiming to be the messenger of Netherworld. Someone reported it. Hearing this, the Lord of the Will was overjoyed and said, Get ready, I'm going to greet you personally. At the same time, he looked at the dog-headed Taoist and said, Master, how about we go together? The dog-headed Taoist nodded, just in time. I also want to see how much knowledge this so-called Nether Messenger has on reincarnation. Immediately, they walked out together, and the illusory avenue appeared under their feet, crossing the vast lake. In the sky ahead, a grey road has evolved. On that road, the aura of the Netherworld is extremely strong. Just the evolution of the avenue has filled the world with the smell of rotting corpses. From the grey rotten avenue, a figure gradually appeared. His whole body was wrapped in a shroud, and he wore a grey cloak. Only a pair of deep eyes were exposed, and his aura was extremely terrifying. Meet the messenger of Netherworld. The lord of the rotating Forbidden City immediately stepped forward respectfully. The Nether messenger walked down the grey rot avenue and arrived in front of the wheeling Forbidden Lord and the dog-headed Taoist. His deep eyes casually glanced at the vast lake in front of him and the main hall standing in the center, and said lightly, "Preparation is okay. But there's still something missing. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1034. Now. True Ancestor Realm. The war is won. The Grey Mist Sea is completely destroyed, and the 9 methods are invincible. The eternal hatred was finally avenged today. The world spread the news. Everyone in the entire Beiwu ancestral realm is happy, as if it's the new year, with lights and colors everywhere, and the sound of firecrackers ringing loudly, in celebration. At this moment, in a certain state, in a secret land. It's not good, it's over, it's completely over. Wan Chongshan, the elder of the outer sect, ran into the visitors' hall in a piss-poor and said, 9 methods have been successfully sacrificed to the world, and the whole world is on the road. The war has come to an end, the Grey Mist Sea has been wiped out, and even the true ancestors have perished. In the Forbidden Hall, the senior officers of the Inquisitors were waiting for the battle report. When they heard the news, everyone was a little dumbfounded. What, the 9 arts are actually so powerful? He was a little distracted and said, "The Sea of Grey Mist is gone, it's over, where should we, the visitors, go?" Song Ji-Yuan also murmured. "The biggest supporter for us visitors is the Grey Mist Sea. Now, our supporter is gone. Moreover, now that the entire Beiwu ancestral realm is on the road, we are the only ones, weak as hell." Even the Forbidden Lord was in a daze. 9 methods, actually succeeded in sacrificing the world. There was a helpless emotion in his eyes, and he said, "The end of 10,000 paths is really too strong." And Ao Wushuan also felt, a little speechless at this moment. After working hard, going through life and death, working hard and sleeping late at night, I finally climbed from a little minion of the prowlers to the top. Is it easy for you? As a result, in just a few days, the whole world is on the road. The former giant of the true ancestor realm, the Forbidden Organization, is now worse than a group of children. Depressing, too depressing. Brother Ao, we have to escape quickly, otherwise we will be doomed when the people from the Beiwu ancestral realm come to their senses and come to deal with us. Song Ji-Yuan spoke anxiously, he was completely panicked. The visitor organization has been working for the Sea of Grey Mist. If you stay in this world, you will definitely not be able to survive. Hey, now that things have come to a point, we can only run away, but where can we escape? Ao Wushuan was a little desperate. Nowadays, there is no place for the White Mist ancestral realm, but the Grey Mist Sea has also been destroyed. I do know a place. At this time, the Forbidden Lord suddenly spoke and said, "That is the source of the Grey Mist Sea. Even the true ancestor cannot step into it. It can be called a true forbidden land and is absolutely safe." With a trace of expectation in his eyes, he looked at Ao Wushuan and said, "Master, I can take you there. By then, no matter how strong the Beiwu ancestral realm is, it will not be able to threaten you." He was simply acting, loyal. Brother Ao, I feel that this forbidden master is not a good person. I'm afraid he has some evil intentions. Song Ji-Yuan spoke cautiously. Hearing this, the Forbidden Lord suddenly became nervous and said, "Master, you believe me, I am loyal to you." He gritted his teeth and said, "It really doesn't work. Master, please let Hui come. I am willing to pay the price to make you believe in me." Hearing this, Song Ji-yuan and Hui were shocked. Before, the Forbidden Lord was very resistant, but now, he is so attracted to men? In fact, the Forbidden Lord also risked his life. As long as he returns to the Forbidden Ancient Road and relies on his connections and power there, he can kill Ao Xuanhuan. Isn't that a matter of minutes? So, it doesn't matter what you pay, as long as you can go back. Ao Xuanhuan sighed helplessly. Now, I have no choice. If you go to the Forbidden Ancient Road, you may still be alive. If you stay in the Beiwu ancestral world, you will definitely die. No need, lead the way, we'll set off now. He opened his mouth and murmured. That's fine, escape from the White Mist ancestral realm, escape from the Grey Mist Sea, and never have to encounter that evil little mountain village again in this life. Immediately, they set off and ran away. Correct. At this time, Hui suddenly slapped his head and said, "Would you like to call the grandson Changqing from the World Sacrifice Temple to join us? He is an undercover agent of the Grey Mist Sea. If he stays in this world, he will die, right?" At this time, Wan Chongshan looked complicated and said, "Elder Huiye, Changsun Changqing, he is an undercover agent, but, he is an undercover agent in the Beiwu ancestral realm. You were deceived by him." Hui. They flew all the way, leaving the White Mist ancestral realm directly, crossing the withered Grey Mist Sea, and finally saw the Forbidden Ancient Road at the end of the Grey Mist Sea, shrouded in grey mist and chaotic mist. "Right here." The Forbidden Lord was very excited and said, "Follow me." And Ao Xuanhuan also said, "Farewell to the evil little mountain village, farewell to the Beiwu ancestral world, Lao Ao is leaving." Immediately, they set foot on the ancient road. Just as they were on their way, the Forbidden Lord frowned and said, "Why does this road smell like urine?" Ao Xuanhuan was happy, but at this moment, his heart felt inexplicably tight. No way. The 10th Source Clan, in the Palace of Reincarnation. Messenger, this is the magic circle I have prepared over the years. Please give me your advice. The rotating Forbidden Lord presented some formation diagrams. The messenger of Yuxu glanced at it indifferently and said, "Did you know that the ritual to control reincarnation requires you to do it first?" The rotating Forbidden Lord shook his head. The messenger of Yuxu said, "Because the way of reincarnation is the prototype of the way of reincarnation. The ritual that controls the entire reincarnation is divided into 4 parts, entering death, reward and punishment, reincarnation, and transcendence. The way of reincarnation contains the prototype of 4 steps. Therefore, 4 people must be found to preside over the formation to fully complete the ceremony. The terrifying ghosts in the netherworld performed rituals to control reincarnation. Entering death, reward and punishment, reincarnation, salvation. However, whether it can be successful still needs to be verified. The way of reincarnation, as an important part of the way of reincarnation, contains the prototype of rituals. As long as the Lord of the Forbidden City can completely control the reincarnation seal in his hand according to this method, it means that the rest of the people can perform the ceremony at the same time and completely control the reincarnation. To put it simply, the messenger from Netherworld came to verify the deduction in the land of Netherworld. What kind of 4 people? The rotating Forbidden Lord asked. The messenger of Yuxu said, "Those who enter the dead are those who have entered reincarnation. The one who rewards and punishes requires someone who practices the art of speaking and spirit. The reincarnated person is the person of the second life. Those who are saved need to find compassionate people who have endured reincarnation to save the dead." When the Lord of the Forbidden City heard this, he couldn't help but feel his head grow bigger and said, "Messenger, these people, where can we find them in this vast world?" Just listening to these descriptions of the nether messenger, each one is harder to find than the last. But the messenger of Yuxu said, "Don't worry, this envoy can be the one to enter the dead. As for those who are rewarded, punished, and reincarnated, you only need to activate the array to release the energy of reincarnation. If there is a clear cause and effect, the relevant people will naturally appear. The most difficult thing is to find a sender. A being who can serve as a deliverer must be a person of great compassion. He or she must even be exposed to reincarnation and save the dead." The messenger of Yuxu said, "The one who is saved, is the hardest to find." At this time, behind the forbidden master, the dog-headed Taoist suddenly coughed and said, "Unexpectedly, my coming out of the mountain in this life turns out to be a major event that coincides with reincarnation. No more acting, let's show off. I am the one who has saved myself. I have been exposed to reincarnation, and I have saved countless lives." In its dog eyes, there is a feeling of loneliness as a master and a soulmate who is hard to find. Suddenly, everyone's eyes fell on him. At the same time, Beiwu Ancestral Realm. The Wuhuang realm, is over there. Nanfan and others have returned. They identified the direction of the current Wuhuang world. The 4 realms and 8 wastelands have all merged with the true ancestral realm, and the White Mist ancestral realm has reappeared. They immediately headed towards Wuhuang. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xian. Chapter 1035. Outside the small mountain village. Nanfang, Ziling, Yun 11 and the others finally arrived. "Let's go back to the village." They happily returned to the village, while Wu Dade, Zhang Li, Qing Chen, Lu Rang and other male disciples were dragging various prey. In a small mountain village. The sun is just right, and after the Lantern Festival, the spring light gradually becomes brighter. On the roadside, in the second uncle's yard, Li Fan was holding Xiaobai in his arms, sitting opposite the second uncle, and there was a game of chess on the stone table. Chess. "Xiao Li, are you afraid of meeting the general if you behave like this? Once he meets, all these tricks you have hidden will be of no use." The second uncle looked at the chess game and couldn't help but smile and said, "Your chess game is very dangerous. Your handsome man is restrained by my general. Once he comes out, even though he can defeat me, the chess game will be defeated." Li Fan picked up the tea at hand, took a sip, and said, "Good. So it's best if we don't meet each other first." As he spoke, his chess piece moved, and the long chariot crossed the Chu River and Han borders, threatening the second uncle's territory. The second uncle said, "Your car can't hide you for long." The two were playing chess, while Bai Xiaoqing was sleeping in Li Fan's arms. When she woke up, she licked Li Fan's teacup while Li Fan was playing chess, but she felt that the second uncle's tea was more bitter than the one in the small courtyard. "Meow meow," he called a few times and rubbed Li Fan's hand. On the side of the road, I saw Ming Tianbei leading a group of mentally ill people, collecting garbage along the way. "Meet Senior Li and second uncle." Ming Tianbei arrived at the second uncle's yard, bowed respectfully and said, "Second uncle, I will bring someone to take out the garbage for you." Since having people under his command, Ming Tianbei has upgraded his business. "We provide door-to-door service on a regular basis every day to help villagers remove all the garbage from their homes. The main thing is that there is actually not enough garbage in the village's public areas for them to pick up, so the business is directly expanded to households. No, now we have arrived at the second uncle's house." The second uncle nodded and said, "Go ahead." Ming Tianbei immediately took Demon Ancestor Wei, Sword Ancestor Yin Suan and others to take out the garbage. This group of mentally ill people were trembling with fear and respect when they saw two indescribably terrifying beings like Li Fan and the second uncle playing chess. These two big guys are playing chess. Qi Xuanming, the ancestor of chess, could not suppress the curiosity and impulse in his eyes, and subconsciously walked over, wanting to observe and learn. After all, it is rare to see a being of this level playing chess forever. This kid from Tianbei has a lot of potential, and he is so professional in picking up garbage. The second uncle was thinking about the chess moves and appreciating them at the same time. Li Fan noticed Qi Xuanming and couldn't help but smile and said, "Do you also know chess?" He remembered that Qi Xuanming was keen on playing chess, but because he played chess against himself, he suffered from schizophrenia. When he opened his left eye and opened his right eye, he looked completely different. "So I have schizophrenia," Qi Xuanming said respectfully. "Senior Qi, Junior, I just like it." He is very self-aware. With his level, how can he dare to understand in front of such a big boss? Li Fan smiled, and he suddenly noticed that Qi Xuanming, well, both eyes were opened at the same time. When he first entered the village, Qi Xuanming always had one eye closed. Li Fan couldn't help asking questions and said, "Are you not schizophrenic now?" Upon hearing this, Qi Xuanming respectfully replied, "Thanks to the dean's love and help, now my personality has been unified and no longer needs to be divided." When he first entered the village, he opened his right eye while fighting with Demon Ancestor and others for onions, ginger, and garlic, and his violent personality appeared. As a result, he was whipped by Ming Tianbei, and his violent personality was directly beaten to death. So now, he is no longer divided. Hearing this, Li Fan's heart moved. This means that the mental illness has been cured? He couldn't help but glance at the other mentally ill people next to him. The old monk Shizu obediently held the broom. Qing Cheng was like a village girl picking up rubbish calmly. Meng Nan still had a broken hammer on his waist, but he was holding a garbage basket. That was a big deal. This group of mentally ill people are clearly working enthusiastically. Facing the garbage, they are scrambling to get ahead. Their mental outlook is very good. Social therapy really works. Li Fan couldn't help but speak. He originally asked Ming Tianbei to build a mental hospital. In fact, in addition to convenient management, there is another point: treatment. Li Fan has studied medicine and naturally knows some treatment methods for mental illness. In fact, many mental illnesses are caused by problems with self-perception. Therefore, correcting the self-perception of mental illness is the basis of treatment. In a mental hospital, you accept management, participate in labor, reintegrate into the collective, and reshape social consciousness. In this way, the cognition of mental illness will be re-established. Now it seems that the treatment these mentally ill people receive is pretty good. Ding. At this moment, the system's voice suddenly sounded in Li Fan's mind. The host has completed the side mission, treating mental illness. The conditions of 12 mental patients have improved. System reward: cultivation reaches the nascent soul realm. Hearing this voice, Li Fan was stunned for a moment, but then he was overjoyed. Did you advance? Nascent soul? He was extremely happy immediately. Qi training, foundation building, golden elixir, yuaning, distraction, cave, Mahayana, integration, immortal. How could he break through a great realm so easily? Brutal yourself. This system is really stupid. There are actually hidden side tasks. Fortunately, I thought about it carefully. Otherwise, wouldn't I have missed it in vain? Now we are one step closer to becoming an immortal. What level of nascent soul is my current state in? Li Fan couldn't help but ask. The system said, well, the third and fourth heavens. Li Fan. How much does it weigh? System, triple. Li Fan vaguely felt that this dog system seemed not very reliable. However, upgrading is a good thing after all. That's wrong, the system. In the nascent soul realm, isn't it supposed to be able to conceive a baby? Why didn't I conceive a baby? Li Fan suddenly thought of this and said. The system went down for a while and then he said. Female cultivators only have babies, while male cultivators will only produce a stream of baby energy. Li Fan. This dog's systematic explanation seems to make sense, but also seems to make no sense. At this time, the system's voice continued to sound quickly, saying. The host has triggered the mission, find a home for the mentally ill. Reward, upgrade your cultivation to nascent soul perfection. Li Fan couldn't help but feel happy when he heard this. If the mentally ill find a home, can the nascent soul be perfected? This task is very good. Moreover, it is not appropriate for these mentally ill people to remain in the village. The village does not need so many garbage pickers. Well, now that their spirits are back to normal, it's time to let them go and find their own way. Right now. Let's get started. You can eat delicious food again. On the road on the side, there was suddenly a lively sound. Li Fan and the second uncle couldn't help but turn their heads to look. Surprisingly, it was Nanfang, Ziling, Wu Dade, and other disciples. They are all back, and they are dragging a lot of prey with them. It's Master. Nanfan and others also saw Li Fan and the second uncle in the yard, and they all came over immediately. Meet the master and meet the second uncle. They saluted with joy. Li Fan nodded and said. How's it going? You guys have been out for a long time this time. Did you help Wu Xiaoqan and the others find a way out? He was still quite concerned. This time, the disciples were sent out in droves to find a way out for the people in the oath-keeping valley. Otherwise, tens of thousands of people would be left alone and have to hunt every day to survive. This life would be really miserable. Nanfan nodded and said. Master Qi, the people of the oath-keeping valley have now established a firm foothold in the White Mist ancestral realm and the entire Grey Mist Sea. Girls Huo Linger and Mu Jianing are leading them. They are developing rapidly, becoming stronger and stronger, and the momentum is very good. Hearing this, Li Fan couldn't help but feel happy and said. So, very good. The second uncle also put down the chess in his hand and asked. Master, where have you been, and you have caught so much game? His old eyes are shining. I went to the Grey Mist Sea and came back from hunting. Wu Dade said. Second uncle, this is the best food in the Grey Mist Sea. Let's have a dinner tonight. The second uncle smiled when he heard this and said. Okay, I'll go and notify the villagers. Next to them, a group of mentally ill people from the mental hospital looked at Wu Dade and their prey, but they were all stunned. Wild elephants, 9-winged phoenixes, sky-eating pythons, no less than 100 of them. Are all the true ancestors in the Sea of Grey Mist hunted down? What on earth did these people do when they went out? I finally understand, if Senior Li's disciples go out together, there will probably be annihilation of the clan and the annihilation of the world. Wu Zoluo Xin Chen murmured. And at this moment, Forbidden Ancient Road. Ahead is the realm of the 10th Source clan. I don't know if they have come back. The Forbidden Lord's eyes were filled with expectations, and his heart was even more uneasy. Back then, as the Forbidden Lord of the 9th Origin clan, he was killed for blocking the end of 10,000 paths. Countless years have passed now. As long as he reaches the territory of the 10th Source clan, with his former connections, he can mobilize the people of the 10th Source clan to suppress Ao Wushuan. Master, let's keep going, it will be safe ahead. He spoke to Ao Wushuan. And at this moment, the 10th Source clan, inside the rotation palace. Who are you? The Nether messenger looked at the dog-headed Taoist. The rotating Forbidden Lord said. The messenger of enlightenment, this dog-headed master, is very knowledgeable about reincarnation. I have been asking him for advice these past few days. The messenger of Yuxu sneered and said, "Oh? Do you have a lot of research on reincarnation?" There was a glimmer of scrutiny in his eyes, and he said, "Just you." But the big black dog showed a touch of disdain on the corner of his mouth and said, "As I said, I have been involved in reincarnation, and I have saved countless living beings." After saying that, its body suddenly emitted a faint yellow light. Seeing this mysterious yellow light, the Lord of the Will suddenly changed his face and said, "The circle of reincarnation." Even the messenger of Yuxu was shocked, took a breath of air, and said, "How could you have a reincarnation ring?" The dog-headed Taoist sneered. Superior 10,000 spirits are used to sacrifice the 6 internal organs, and the common people are saved to refine the 5 lungs. Do you know what salvation is? Listening to these 2 words, Messenger Yuxu's eyes jumped. This dog-headed Taoist is really not simple. Your Excellency, it seems that you have experienced reincarnation before. What do you want? The nether messenger spoke tentatively. After all, the origin of the dog-headed Taoist is unknown. The dog-headed Taoist said calmly, "My true body has died long ago. I just want to use the power of reincarnation to truly achieve reincarnation after reincarnation." As he spoke, he showed off his aura casually. The messenger of Yuxu suddenly felt something in his heart. This dog-headed Taoist is indeed not his true body, but a special kind of spirit body. It turns out that he asked for reincarnation to be reincarnated. In this way, you can rest assured. The nether messenger nodded, patted the wheel-turning forbidden master on the shoulder, and said, "You're lucky. It's a great joy to be able to meet this tall man. It saves you a lot of troubles." Hearing this, the Lord of the Will was overjoyed and immediately saluted the dog-headed Taoist and said, "Thank you for your help, Master. The messenger is here with you. I am truly blessed with double happiness. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert." Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 1036. Small Village. It was already evening and the village was extremely lively. It's just the Chinese New Year and you can eat delicious food again. Let's have a party, let's have a party. Lots of delicious food. A group of children were enjoying themselves around various prey. The villagers have already gathered. Tisk, I haven't seen this big wild elephant in many years. The tusks of the wild elephants we ate back then were even prettier than this. What a big snake, just right for making snake soup. Come on, Bai Qian girl, don't you want the snake gallbladder? I'll cut it out for you. There are so many pheasant wings here, I can make a pot of chicken wings. Uncle Zhang, Aunt Wang, and a group of people have already started cooking. As always, Li Fan took matters into his own hands, and his disciples signed up for various delicacies. Beyond the grey mist sea, the true ancestor is really dead. Blood ancestor Xuetian looked at the scene in front of him and was a little dazed. Hunted the whole world. The 9 methods successfully set out, and the grey mist sea was wiped out. Now, they all know what is happening in the outside world. Therefore, everyone is a little confused. The grey mist sea is so powerful. It has experienced the golden age, seen everywhere, and has countless overlords. For the white mist ancestral realm, the grey mist sea can be called a real giant, and the strength of the 2 sides is not at the same level at all. But now, the Beiwu ancestral realm has completely counterattacked. On the dining table in the village, there are just a few more delicacies, but the outside world is a matter of life and death for the whole world. Demon ancestor Wei couldn't help but sigh and said, "This small mountain village is terrible." Everyone also had complicated expressions. So what if the so-called true ancestors in the outside world have calculated for eternity? So what if he was beaten to death? A thought in this small mountain village can determine their fate. This feeling is simply dreamy. The banquet is open. Finally, the food is ready. Everyone comes to the table to eat. The scene was extremely lively, with a group of mentally ill people, and this time another fight broke out over the onion, ginger, and garlic. Because, this time, there were basically no chickens or pigs in the village. They were all true ancestors from the Grey Mist Sea. They looked down on ingredients like true ancestors at all. It is far from the seasoning in the village. Xiao Li said that these mentally ill people have improved and should be sent out, but I feel that they are still not better. The second uncle was a little puzzled. Uncle Zhang also said, "Yes, something seems wrong." And a group of mentally ill people who were competing for onions, ginger, and garlic were suddenly startled when they heard this. "Are we going to be sent out?" Luo Xingchen was stunned. "Hey, what a place this is. We were supported by 10,000 ways and it's an incredible opportunity to be able to come here and stay for a while in this life. That's enough." Shizu was quite relieved. "Yes, with the accumulation of this period of time, even if I go out, I can soar into the sky. It makes sense. No, why not grab more and save it now?" A group of mentally ill people, after realizing that their food was getting more and more limited, couldn't help it anymore and started grabbing like crazy. After dinner, everyone gets together to drink. They were drunk, and after a while, a group of Li Fan's disciples were already a little tipsy. After the fourth meeting, it is the shadow of death. Nanfan murmured, and she entered the Taoist landscape with a thought, and moved forward along her own path to the music. On her path to the piano, there are fairy lights blooming, holy lights shining, and magical charms rising one after another. Follow the road to the end, and suddenly there are countless shadows of time appearing around you. There is a world full of flowers, with fairy light lingering in it. It seems that as long as you walk into it, you can live forever and touch the forbidden fairy way. In a barbaric land, the ancestors were struggling, wars broke out, and there were terrifying Qi practitioners who chased the stars and the moon, but in the end they shed blood. A sea of music, in which fairy sounds rise one after another, and the notes converge into various visions, which are extremely astonishing. This is a reflection of a square of time and space. Her path to the piano connects countless dead figures of time. The south wind at this moment can step into the shadow of death in any party. However, it is also extremely dangerous. Most of the dead shadows of the years have long since completely disappeared. If you connect your own road to it, it will destroy yourself at worst, and your body will die. At worst, your way forward will be cut off, and you will be trapped in this life. Within the shadow of death. Why are there so many overlords in the sea of grey mist, but so few true ancestors? It is because it is too difficult to find a truly passable road among the shadows of countless years. There are countless dead shadows. Where are we going? Nanfan is thinking. However, at this moment, she suddenly seemed to hear a gentle whisper coming from the depths of countless dead shadow worlds. Looking at the eternal world, the darkness is the same throughout all eternity, there is no way out. This whisper seems to have traveled through eternity of time and space, echoing through the years, whispering to every living being, and seems to be telling the truth of the world. Nanfan was suddenly startled because she discovered that this voice was clearly exactly the same as Master's. What happened? Could this be the words that Master has left in the years? No. However, a premonition arose in Nanfan's heart. This murmur does not seem like the remaining words of the years, but rather like the sound of the current world. But, how is this possible? At this moment, she fell into deep doubts. At the same time, it's not just her. The rest of the disciples are also exploring along the Great Road at this moment. Ziling, Longzixuan, Lurang, Duguyuking, etc. They all saw the chaotic light and shadow in the Taoist landscape, and the scenes of the years were displayed before their eyes, and they could enter at any time. But they all heard the same whisper, the same murmur. Looking at all the eternity is the same darkness, there is no way out. There is no way to go. Why do I feel like this is telling the world? It's Master's voice. What on earth is going on? They were all confused. At this time, Ling opened her eyes. After drinking the wine, her face was flushed, and her big eyes were a little blurry. She looked at Li Fan and said, "Master, have you whispered anything to us?" Li Fan was petting his cat and drinking wine. When he heard this, he couldn't help but smile and said, "No. Is Ling drunk or hallucinating?" Ling said, "Oh, I think I heard you say that it's dark everywhere and there's no way to go." Road. What kind of auditory hallucination is this? It was dark everywhere and there was no way to go. Could it be that Ling had read Lu Sun's book? This style is completely Brother Sun style. However, it seems that I don't have this in my study room. They are all miscellaneous books awarded by the system. Li Fan didn't think much about it. He was slightly drunk and said with a smile, "There is no road in the world. When there are more people walking, there will be a road." Hearing this, Nanfan Xiling and others suddenly became thoughtful. There is no road in the world. If there are more people walking, there will be a road. Dugu Yuking murmured. A lonely and courageous spirit suddenly rose in his heart, and he whispered, "There is no way out, then start with yourself, make a way." In the Dao scenery, his mind turned into a divine sword, killing thousands of residual images. The shadows of death in the years are all useless. In the past, there may have been many amazing avenues left, but he gave them all up and wanted to walk a new path on his own. In an instant, the shadow of death quickly disappeared in his Dao scenery, turning into a rain of light all over the sky. And Dugu Yuking, as soon as he thought of it, his sword intention soared to the sky, and he melted the dark Tao scenery to create a sword path that stretched forward. He broke the shadow of death and established his own swordsmanship. "I succeeded," Dugu Yuking murmured. At this moment, he has officially passed through the realm of the shadow of death, and can be called the pinnacle overlord. "I successfully opened up a path to swordsmanship." Dugu Yuking looked at the road under his feet in Daijingdi, feeling extremely excited. But, right now, at the end of the road, a lazy whisper suddenly sounded. "There is no road in the world. If I leave and others follow, there will be a road." Dugu Yuking was suddenly startled. This voice is still exactly the same as the one before. It's like the master is whispering. "Master, still at the end of the road." Dugu Yuking was a little confused. In this world, there is no new road at all, it is all the road that master has walked. He was shocked. "I thought that cutting off all the shadows with one sword was my true intention and my own path, but I never thought that at the end of the road, the master's voice was still echoing." But then, a chilling possibility suddenly occurred to him. No, the person at the end of the road is master? Good night. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Gui Xin. Chapter 1037. At the end of the Grey Fog Sea, there is a forbidden ancient road. In a secret room. Hey Emperor, do you really want to help them control reincarnation? Yang Daomei and Zhang Yunzheng both looked at the dog-headed Taoist with anxiety. The existence on the forbidden ancient road is trying to seize reincarnation. We should destroy it? Otherwise, let's go get the Great Seal of Reincarnation right now. Hearing this, the big black dog said. Wow, what's the hurry? What's the point of grabbing the Great Seal of Reincarnation? I've even prepared the ritual formation, so there's no need to regret it. As it spoke, it looked intently at the formation catalog in its hand and studied it. This is the formation required for the reincarnation ceremony. Because the big black dog has been identified as one of the 4 people, the Lord of the Reincarnation Forbidden City has recorded the formation diagram for it to familiarize it with it in advance. Hearing this, Yang Daomei was startled for a moment, suddenly realized something, and said, "Hey Emperor, do you mean that you are going to use your trick to take away the power of reincarnation?" The big black dog said, "I am not the only one who wants to seize the power of reincarnation. That netherworld envoy has a big problem, he wanted to let the mantis catch the cicada, but he didn't expect that the emperor was behind. Its dog eyes are faint." Upon hearing this, Yang Daomei looked at each other in shock. This means that the messenger of Nethervoid wants to snatch the reincarnation authority of the Forbidden Lord? But, aren't the messengers of Netherworld sent by the old ghosts from the land of Netherworld? They should be with the rotating Forbidden Lord. Xuanhuan asked. The big black dog said. He was indeed sent from the Netherworld, but he was controlled by something else. The smell of decay cannot fool me. Upon hearing this, Yang Daomei and Xuanhuan immediately understood. It's equivalent to, the old ghosts in the Nethervoid land want to let the rotating Forbidden Lord take over the reigning power. However, there is a dark hand secretly tampering with the envoy from the Nethervoid land, trying to seize power. Yang Daomei couldn't help but sigh and said, "I see, fortunately, the Black Emperor is here. The old ghosts in the Netherworld are on the 1st floor, and the Black Hands who control the Netherworld Messenger are on the 2nd floor. But I never thought that the Black Emperor is on the 3rd floor." Xuanhuan said. "This is the legendary, Black Eating Black, right?" The big black dog, on the other hand, was studying the formation, scratched the dog's head, and said, "Wow, this formation is quite complicated. If only the dead turtle were here, I still have to waste some time. And right now, the formation has started to activate. The Forbidden Lord has ordered me to come forward. Please come forward, Master." A gloomy voice sounded outside. The big black dog immediately put away the catalogue of magic circles and walked out. A white skeleton was already waiting outside. They immediately followed the bones, and not long after, they had arrived at the giant lake where the rotation hall was located. At this moment, the surroundings of the giant lake were covered with formation flags, and the secret power was flowing with the aura of reincarnation, which was extremely astonishing. "Master, you are here." The Lord of the rotating Forbidden City walked over with a smile on his face and the Nethervoid envoy. "You will be responsible for the role of the deliverer." The Nether messenger opened his mouth and pointed towards the corner of the formation. The formation that completes the reincarnation ceremony this time has 4 cores and needs 4 key people to take charge. The dog-headed Taoist glanced at it and narrowed his eyes slightly. It has seen that this formation seems to be consistent with the one in the catalogue, but there have been some changes secretly. The messenger of Yuxu has already taken action. According to the current formation, the person who controls the reincarnation power in the end will definitely not be the Lord of the Reincarnation. However, the big black dog just nodded and said, "Ken." The messenger of Yuxu nodded and said, "Now that the formation has been initially activated, we are just waiting for the unexplained cause and effect to send us the rewards, punishments, and reincarnations." He just finished speaking. Report. Outside, a voice sounded, and a walking corpse came quickly and said, "Beyond the origin, several people came to visit. One of them claimed to be the former forbidden master of the 9th origin clan, Mei Zhizhang." Hearing this, the rotating Forbidden Lord was startled for a moment. Mei Zhizhang. Didn't this person already have Wan Dao Dingpan beat him to death? The rotating Forbidden Lord's face is full of doubts. "Let them in." Immediately, the walking zombie left. Outside the origin of the 10th Source clan. Why do you feel that the 10th Source clan now is a little different from before? What happened? Forbidden Lord Meiji's Hang looked at the huge stone tablet outside the origin of the 10th Origin clan, his face full of doubts. The entire Yuan clan was filled with a dead atmosphere. Moreover, what is the revolving treasure palace? You can go in. At this time, a lifeless voice sounded. A walking corpse has arrived to lead them. Immediately, Ao Wushuan, Meiji Shangjinzu, Song Jiyuan and other people immediately followed. Walking into the land of the 10th Origin clan, everyone was extremely surprised when they saw the scene along the road. There are walking corpses wandering everywhere, and there are many bones. In the fog, ghost eyes sometimes open, as if they are examining the living people in the world. Creepy. Soon after, I saw the huge lake in front of me, and the rotating palace standing on the lake. Above the lake, there clearly seemed to be a howling wind and hundreds of ghosts crying at night. Brother Ao, I feel like this place is very evil. Song Ji-yuan couldn't help but speak, he had goosebumps all over his body. But Ao Wushuan gritted his teeth and said, "It's okay, I've seen more evil than this, what does this mean? It doesn't matter. As long as we can avoid that evil little mountain village, that's enough." He comforted himself in his heart. Meiji's Hang, is it really you? At this time, a voice sounded. He saw the lord of the rotating forbidden city walking behind him, followed by a man covered in shrouds and a dog-headed Taoist. Seeing the dog-headed Taoist, Ao Wushuan's heart suddenly tightened. Maid, it doesn't seem quite right. This, black dog Taoist? Small village. By the campfire. Duguyuking's face was filled with shock. The kendo he founded with his heart was only in its rudiment, but at the end, the master's murmur could already be heard. And it's not just him, it's the same for everyone else. Under Li Fan's attack, they killed all the dead shadows in front of them, and then gathered their own Tao. However, just when they thought they had embarked on a new path, they all heard the same voice. "Master, have you ever traveled all the roads in the world?" Nanfeng murmured. "There is no new way in this world." Zhongli was in a daze. How high is Master's cultivation? What level has he reached? What has he experienced? Qing Chen was in a trance. At the same time, they all became confused. The murmur coming from the end of the road was clearly Master's voice. But the Master is right in front of me. Don't worry too much. If you continue along the road, you will eventually see the truth. Subakian spoke, she was very determined. Yes, Master is by our side, don't worry. Maybe it's the whisper that Master once left at the end of all roads, or maybe it's the whisper in the ears of all sentient beings in this life, but it doesn't matter. Others also instantly strengthened their Taoism. Drink more and more. The second uncle raised a toast and drank together. Everyone also continued drinking together. On the other side, a group of mentally ill people were also drinking freely. Knowing that they were about to leave soon, they all drank happily and freely. After a long time, the bonfire gradually dissipated, and the villagers gradually went home to rest. A group of disciples were also drunk. Li Fan stood up, stretched, and then took Nanfeng, Ziling, Subakian, Gongya and Xian Ning back to the room. Then he started dragging the male disciples away. "Li Fan, let me help you." Yun 11 was not completely drunk, and was following Li Fan to drag him along. Soon after, they finally dragged everyone back. "Li Fan, I can still drink, can you have another drink?" Yungzi giggled. Li Fan helped her sit down, poured her a cup of hot tea, smiled and said, "Okay, cheers." Yungzi drank the hot tea and said with a silly smile, "Good wine, good wine. By the way, Demon King, what are the names of the butterflies you gave me? You never told me." After she finished speaking, before Li Fan could say Butterfly's name, she was already so drunk that she lay down on the stone table and fell asleep. Li Fan gently stroked her waterfall-like hair and whispered. Actually, the names of these butterflies are quite strange. This wish is held by the body, as if you have a hand, and it will return to the red world. He smiled and said, these names are really messy, without any literary grace at all, vulgar and rustic. After finishing speaking, the unexpected spring breeze suddenly blew up, making people feel chilly. Li Fan raised his glass and drank from it, and said with a smile. In ancient times, all the sages were lonely, only the drinkers left their names. After drinking, Li Fan took Yongzi back to the room, covered her with a quilt, and sat quietly beside her for a long time. At this moment, Yun 11 seemed to be having a dream. She dreamed of a sea of flowers and fluttering butterflies with him in the sea of flowers. Caught many butterflies. She asked him if he had to go. He just smiled and nodded. We caught these butterflies together, and I gave them to you, keep them well, and return them to me when you come back. She spoke. He accepted the butterflies, suddenly counted them, and said. There are 7 butterflies in total. Let me name them. This wish is made by my body. If you have a hand, I will return to the red world. She smiled and said, what a messy name, it has no literary talent at all. It's so vulgar and uncouth. He also smiled and said. You have to be rustic and tacky once in your life. After saying that, he left. She stood there, suddenly laughing until tears came out. If I ever come back in this life, I would like to hold your hand and say goodbye to the world of mortals, true customs and true earth. In Yongzi's sleep, a drop of clear tears seemed to fall from the corner of her eyes. Li Fan gently wiped it off for her, gently grabbed her hand on the bedside, and murmured. Did you have a sad dream? Don't be afraid, I'm here. As if she heard his voice, the sadness in Yun 11's brows in her sleep disappeared and turned into a sweet smile. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Goexin. Chapter 1038. The next day. The faint sunshine spread all over the small mountain village. After the beginning of spring, the weather gradually becomes warmer, and people no longer miss the bed as much as before. Li Fan had already woken up early in the morning. After washing up and being served by several female disciples, Gongya made breakfast. After breakfast, Nanfan said. Master, we went out this time and found a way, which may require the use of 12 mentally ill people in the village. The 12 psychopaths selected by Wandao Ending are the candidates she uses to rebuild reincarnation. Hong Chen Jade has existed in their sea of consciousness for countless years, so these 12 mentally ill people already have the aura of reincarnation. Can further control the authority of reincarnation. But now, the existence on the forbidden ancient road is seeking reincarnation. Therefore, Nanfan felt that this matter should be done sooner rather than later. When Li Fan heard this, he suddenly felt happy. The dog system just issued a mission yesterday, asking it to find a home for 12 mentally ill people. Nanfan and the others have already found a way for 12 mentally ill people. Isn't this a coincidence? It's my group of disciples that are so powerful. He nodded immediately and said. Very good, it's time for these 12 mentally ill people to go out. He thought for a moment and said. Well, let's send the one who loves to play chess away first. He felt that a mentally ill person who loved playing chess would recover best. His schizophrenia had been cured and there was no problem in sending him away. And other mental illnesses need to be observed again. After all, you have to be responsible for the patient. It would be bad if you get sick again after going out. Moreover, whether the way Nanfan said is reliable or not, you have to give it a try. Hearing this, Zhang Li on the side immediately stepped forward and said. Master, let me go. Li Fan nodded and said. Good. At this time, Nanfan said again. By the way, Master, The place where junior brother Zhongli is going this time is filled with grey fog. I'm afraid it will be difficult to move forward. There are many dangers on the forbidden ancient road. Li Fan was a little confused when he heard this, grey mist. During this period, the weather outside is indeed not very good. From a distance, the sky and the earth are a bit grey. Bai Qian, go to the pharmacy and bring out 2 masks. In the early years, when Li Fan first came here, he had to deal with smog for a period of time and made some masks. It comes in handy now. Su Baiqian immediately went to the pharmacy and got 2 masks in a short time. The masks are all made of cloth and look ordinary and simple. You take this with you to protect yourself from sand and poison. Li Fan spoke. Zhongli took it respectfully and said, "Thank you, master." Li Fan nodded and said, "By the way, ask Lu Rang to get you some more sand-fixing grass seeds, and you can take them out. This grass has strong vitality and grows very fast. It is a good thing for controlling desertification and haze. After you go out, you can jump into the air to avoid severe pollution. Wherever you want, sprinkle some randomly. The pollution in the outside world is getting worse day by day, and Li Fan also feels that if you can do something, just do something. After all, environmental protection, we have to work together." Hearing this, Zhongli took the grass seeds even more excitedly. He remembered what Wan Dao ending said. If you want to rebuild reincarnation, you must turn this world into a forbidden realm, and the pure white mist ancestral realm is not enough. You also need to turn the grey mist sea into a white mist world. This grass seed, maybe it has the ability to defy the heavens, right? He was immediately looking forward to it. Zhongli immediately took the little turtle with him, said goodbye to his master, and left the courtyard. Not long after, they arrived in front of the mental hospital in the village. "Chess ancestor, I am here to take you away on master's orders." He explained his purpose. In the mental hospital, Qi Xuang was prepared for tomorrow morning, but she didn't expect that she would have to leave so soon. He stood up and said with emotion, "Dean, brothers, goodbye. It is a blessing in this life to be able to spend some peaceful time with you in such a holy place. Qi will take the first step." His eyes were filled with nostalgia and reluctance. He was once a strong man in the grey mist sea and had spent countless years, but this time in the small mountain village had a different flavor. It's not just a rapid improvement in cultivation, but also an experience of life. This place is clearly a supreme forbidden land. Every plant and tree can cut through the universe and the sky, and the villagers are all unimaginably powerful. However, a place like this made him feel extraordinarily peaceful, just like a real small village for mortals, with dust, fireworks, firewood, rice, oil, and salt. "Go ahead. Goodbye, Lao Chi, maybe it won't be long before we can meet again." Other mentally ill people are also a little reluctant to let go, and they have already established a relationship with the same patient. Jubian and the old monk even came over and handed him a small cloth bag. "This is all our inventory: spicy skin, onions, ginger, garlic, etc. Bring them with you. Anyway, we are still in the village for the time being, and there is still a chance to camp again." Hearing this, Qi Xuangming felt warm in his heart. This is true love, such a good brother, you can even give away spicy skin. Goodbye everyone. Qi Xuangming left immediately and left with Zhongli. Not long after, they had left the village. "Qi Zun, where are we going?" Qi Xuangming asked. Zhongli said, "Sending you to reincarnation." When Qi Xuangming heard this, his expression suddenly changed and he said, "Ah, does that senior want to kill me?" Zhongli hurriedly explained, "That's not the case, sending you to reincarnation, that's the literal meaning." He immediately explained the cause and effect. After listening, Qi Xuangming was shocked. It turns out that at the end of 10,000 paths, putting the red dust jade into our sea of consciousness actually has this purpose. He lamented. Good intentions and far-reaching plans. Now it seems that everything Wan Dao ending does has her deep meaning. Don't worry, Master Chi. I have been greatly favored by 10,000 ways end and Senior Li. I will go all out this time and am willing to enter reincarnation. They left Wuhuang all the way, and what they saw along the way was that the current Beiwu ancestral realm was full of prosperity. Huo Linger and Mu Jianing, together with Yang Chu, Wu Xiaokan, Wu Jianghe, Chang Sun Changqing, Chang Sun Bumi, Ji Wudan, etc., have rebuilt the Wild Sky Alliance. Now the entire Beiwu ancestral realm respects the Lord of Desolate Heaven and the end of all paths. All the scum forces in the past have been liquidated. Moreover, after the whole world went on the road, after the battle in the Grey Mist Sea, the White Mist ancestral realm could be said to have opened up a golden world, with more and more powerful people cultivating to the realm of the Four Seeings. Rapid development. In fact, even the Grey Mist Sea has now become the place of the White Mist ancestral realm, and major forces are using the various treasure resources of the Grey Mist Sea for cultivation. The 9 methods created by 10,000 Paths End can be practiced using the origin of Grey Fog. Moreover, it will not be affected by one's own mind and will not be alienated into Grey Fog creatures. Crossing the Grey Fog Sea and reaching the end, you can see the forbidden ancient road shrouded in fog. This is the legendary road. Qi Xuanming opened his mouth and said. Once upon a time, we also looked at it from a distance, but we never dared to set foot. Zhang Li took out a mask, handed it to Qi Xuanming, and said. Put this on. Qi Xuanming took it and put it on, and then the two of them embarked on this ancient road together. Stepping on the ancient road feels like walking through the years. There seems to be countless silences of time and space all around, and there are many remaining shadows of the world. The forces of various time and space are intricate, and on the road ahead, there are corpses of strong men lying everywhere from time to time. I set foot on this road in the past. Zhang Li whispered. The former 10 masters and 2 evils, as soon as they walked on this road, they saw the black path and the scene in the darkness, their Taoist hearts collapsed, and then they were suppressed and killed. According to legend, this forbidden ancient road was built by countless worlds who spent all their money. Qi Xuanming opened his mouth and said. Before the Grey Mist Sea, many worlds were born in this world. Some of those worlds were even more glorious than the Grey Mist Sea. In order to move towards the taboo, they tried their best to carve out this world in the dark. The road leads to the forbidden. But, in the end, no world reaches the other side of the taboo. As they spoke, the two of them moved forward. In the surrounding void, terrifying after-images flashed from time to time. The mysterious power of destruction came one after another. The mist of chaos turned into a giant beast, almost swallowing people. However, the masks of the two seemed to emit invisible power, blocking everything. Finally, they saw the 10th Source clan in front of them. This place is so eerie. Qi Xuanming spoke. Zhang Li said. We need to find out the situation here first. Otherwise, it is impossible to act. At this moment, a ghostly figure flashed in front of him, and a gloomy voice sounded, saying. Who? The green ghost eyes emitted a terrifying light and approached instantly. Just as this ghostly shadow appeared, suddenly, behind Zhang Li, a ethereal Taoist scene appeared. There seemed to be a giant turtle in it, shaped like a mountain. On its shell, the light of the formation emitted. Passing through the Dao scenery, the ghost shadow was directly enveloped. Surprisingly, it was the little turtle who took action. Since entering the forbidden ancient road, Zhang Li put it into the Taoist scenery. For an instant, the ghost became sluggish. Quickly, ask him about the details of this place, Lord Turtle. I can't suppress this ghost for too long. The little turtle's voice sounded. Zhang Li immediately asked quickly. Regarding reincarnation, the 10th Source clan does not keep it secret, because in their view, no one from the outside world can approach it, so this ghost also knows a lot. After hearing what this ghost said, Zhongli was quite surprised. Control the Great Seal of Reincarnation, fortunately we arrived in time, otherwise it would be bad if we were too late. Zhongli murmured. The little turtle thought. The dog-headed Taoist who is a deliverer? Why does this feel so familiar, could it be? The little turtle suddenly said. You are the reincarnated one. The second life that comes out of the ocean of cause and effect happens to be a corner of their formation. Let's go in and take a look, we will use the trick to snatch reincarnation away. This is called, the mantis stalks the cicada and the oriole follows behind. After saying that, the light on its turtle shell dimmed, and the ghost figure suddenly revived. Well, what happened just now? Why do I feel dizzy? The ghost whispered, but didn't think much about it. It stared at Zhongli and others solemnly and said, Who are you two? Zhongli said calmly. The reincarnated ones below are here for the matter of reincarnation. Hearing this, the ghost suddenly turned pale with fright. As a warning, Li Fan will officially leave the village in March. It's not like walking 100 meters, it's really, going out and seeing the world. Good night. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Goi Xin. Chapter 1039. Now. The 10th Source Clan. It's really you. Seeing Mei Zhishang, the rotating Forbidden Lord was surprised and said. That slap at the end of 10,000 paths back then actually left you with a glimmer of hope. You are really, tenacious. When the Lord of the Wheeling Forbidden City heard this, he suddenly felt a little embarrassed on his face and said. If a good man doesn't mention his bravery, he won't mention what happened back then. Brother, help me quickly, this person. He looked at Ao Wushuan and hurriedly wanted to tell the truth. However, before he finished speaking, behind the Forbidden Lord, the Nether Messenger had already stepped forward, looked at Ao Wushuan, and said in surprise. This person is, the one who rewards and punishes. Hearing this, the eyes of the rotating Forbidden Lord and others fell on Ao Wushuan. At the same time, Master Mei Zhishang wanted to say something, but his hands suddenly stretched out and covered his mouth tightly, so that he could only make a grunting sound. He is the one who rewards and punishes. The eyes of the wheel-turning Forbidden Master are all shining. The Yuxu messenger nodded, stared at Ao Wushuan, and said. Have you ever practiced the art of speech and spirit? Moreover, you should, have walked out of the land of nothingness and death. The messenger of Nether Void came out of reincarnation. In a sense, that kind of place is close to the underworld of the past. Therefore, he can feel Ao Wushuan's aura. Moreover, people who have practiced the method of speaking and spirit have a wonderful connection with the cause and effect cycle between heaven and earth. Although ordinary people cannot detect it, the ghost eyes specially trained by the messengers of Yuxu can observe some traces. Therefore, he could see how extraordinary Ao Wushuan was. When Ao Wushuan heard this, he immediately felt a little scared. How could this guy covered in shrouds tell? Are you about to expose yourself? However, now that the other party has figured it out, there is no use hiding it. Exactly. Ao Wushuan admitted immediately. Hearing this, the Yuxu messenger immediately nodded and said. Where are you from? Ao Wushuan said without thinking. Those who escaped from the White Mist ancestral realm, our Forbidden Visitor organization was originally led by the Forbidden Lord to work for the Grey Mist Sea, but now that the Grey Mist Sea has been destroyed, we have no choice but to escape all the way. Hearing this, the messenger of Yuxu was completely relieved and said to the wheel-turning Forbidden Master. Your formation gets another corner. The Lord of the rotating Forbidden City was very happy. He immediately stepped forward, grabbed Ao Wushuan's hand, and said excitedly. Brother Ao, you are simply a lucky star sent by God. From now on, you will be my honored guest. With you, we can rebuild reincarnation. Come with me quickly, I will take you to see the formation. He is impatient. When Xuanhuan heard this, he was a little confused. How could he become a distinguished guest? What other formations should we look at? I'm afraid there's something wrong. Xuanhuan thought for a moment and said, this matter requires the consent of our Forbidden Lord. Hearing this, the Lord of the Rotation Forbidden City smiled and said, Forbidden Lord? What kind of Forbidden Lord is he? The Ninth Source clan has already given birth to a new Forbidden Lord. If he goes to the Ninth Source clan, he will only be killed. Upon hearing this, Lord Mei Zhishang, who was covering his mouth, suddenly became startled. What? The Ninth Origin clan has a new Forbidden Lord? This is not good. The internal competition among the top 10 source clans has always been extremely cruel. If the new Forbidden Master knew that he had returned, he would probably take action immediately to intercept and kill him. Brother Ao, as long as you help me complete the ceremony, I can make you the new Forbidden Master in the future. As for the rotating Forbidden Lord, he made a direct promise to Xuanhuan. If you really control reincarnation and become one of the 10 Lords of Hell in reincarnation, your identity as the Forbidden Lord will not be worth mentioning. Hearing this, Xuanhuan was immediately happy and became the Forbidden Lord. The Forbidden Lord is a big shot on this ancient road. By then, I will have a place to settle down, and it will be far away from the small mountain villages, which is the best. I will do my best. Xuanhuan quickly agreed. The Lord of the Rotating Forbidden City also smiled. Suddenly, he looked at Mei Zhishang again and said, by the way, what did you want to say just now? Mei Zhishang was stunned. At this moment, he was completely confused. Damn it, Xuanhuan, this bastard, actually has a chance to become the new Forbidden Lord? On the contrary, I no longer have a place on the Forbidden Ancient Road. What happened during these years of silence? Even reincarnation seemed to be about to appear. It's over. With the help of the power of the Forbidden Ancient Road, the plan to destroy Xuanhuan was completely in vain. In fact, Xuanhuan now has more say than himself. Now, I'm afraid even if I tell these people that I let Xuanhuan control me, it won't be of any use. His thoughts whirled and he said sarcastically, it's nothing, I just want to say, Brother Ao, he is a good man, he will definitely help you. Hearing this, Xuanhuan also breathed a long sigh of relief. He was really scared, this guy snitched. Let's go, quickly set up the formation. The rotating Forbidden Lord spoke. However, the messenger of Yuxu suddenly said, Xuanhuan, since you know how to speak the spirit, I have something I need to ask for your help with. Our magic circle is still missing a reincarnator. Why don't you try the method of speaking and spirit? He also wanted to see what level Xuanhuan had reached in practicing the art of speech and spirit. When Xuanhuan heard this, his face turned a bit ugly and he said, let me tell you. He feels a little guilty. Why, isn't your method of talking about spirits not working? The Nether Messenger's words seemed a little displeased. Upon hearing this, Xuanhuan hurriedly said, spiritual, of course it is spiritual. Although it is contrary to the spirit. However, we can't blow ourselves up now. Otherwise, they would probably kill themselves. At this moment, there was nothing he could do, so Xuanhuan had no choice but to say, don't worry, the reincarnated ones will definitely come to help you. The Nether Messenger nodded. Next, it depends on the level of Xuanhuan Yanling. Since Brother Ao has this ability, please give me your blessing, okay? The rotating Forbidden Lord spoke excitedly, looking forward to it. Xuanhuan immediately opened his eyes. At this moment, not only Ao Wushuan, but also Song Ji Yuan behind Ao Wushuan was a little dazed. Ao Wushuan was stunned when he heard the request of the rotating Forbidden Lord. Are you sure? It's better not to give it up. Ao Wushuan spoke with a guilty conscience. I still want to follow this wheeling Forbidden Master, so that I can have a place in the future. Do this. No, yes, definitely. The rotating Forbidden Lord is very determined, even if it can only increase the chance a little, that is a good thing. Seeing this, Ao Wushuan felt helpless and could only say, okay, then I wish you all the best, early success, and control of reincarnation. As he said this, he was still thinking silently in his heart, this blessing must not be effective. After all, he really wants to hang out with these people. The rotating Forbidden Lord nodded with satisfaction and said, thank you. Let's go, I'll take you to familiarize yourself with our formation ceremony this time. He spoke immediately. The group was ready to leave immediately. But, at this moment, a loud voice suddenly came from outside, saying, Retribution. Two people from the outside world came, claiming to be reincarnations, and came for the matter of reincarnation. Hearing this, everyone at the scene was very surprised. It actually came so quickly, what a powerful way to speak the spirit. The Xuanhuan envoy couldn't help but praise, Ao Wushuan seemed to be a strange person. The lord of the wheeling forbidden city was overjoyed and said, Great, great. Now that the reincarnated ones are here, I am really blessed with good fortune, it's like a blessing. The reincarnation will come true. Please come quickly, please come quickly. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Goexin. Chapter 1040. Report to the Forbidden Lord, the reincarnated one has arrived. A ghost, leading two people, came towards the giant lake. The rotating Forbidden Lord, Nether Void Envoy and others are all waiting. At a glance, I saw two people wearing masks approaching. Surprisingly, it was Zhang Li and Qi Xuanming. Welcome you two, may I ask where you are from? The rotating Forbidden Lord smiled and stepped forward. Zhang Li stepped forward calmly and said, Dead for countless years, reincarnated from cause and effect, coming from nothingness. I still remember that back then, our world had reached its peak, and we spent all our resources to carve out this ancient road from the darkness, but the price was the destruction of the entire world and reduced to an afterimage around this road. I didn't expect that I could get out of the intersection of cause and effect. Zhang Li looked at the huge lake in front of him and the rotating palace in the center of the lake, and said calmly, It seems that this place affects the cause and effect. Hearing this, the rotation Forbidden Lord immediately lost his guard. He is indeed a reincarnator. Moreover, he is the reincarnation of a world that has perished. In this way, you can rest assured. Messenger, what do you think? The rotating Forbidden Lord spoke to the Netherworld messenger. The Yuxu messenger looked at Zhang Li and Qi Xuanming with some doubts. These two people were completely invisible to him, as if shrouded in a veil of time. However, that young man's aura is indeed the reincarnation. No matter what, as long as the ceremony can be started. By starting the ritual, you can steal the power of reincarnation. When the time comes, no matter who you are, you will die. This thought flashed through his mind, and he nodded immediately. Seeing that the messengers of Yuxu nodded, the lord of the rotating forbidden city immediately took a deep breath and said, Okay, I'm very happy. With all of you here to help me, why worry about the big thing not happening? Quick, come with me, let's activate the magic circle now and let reincarnation see the light of day again. Immediately, everyone walked towards the lake together. Wow, there is a familiar feeling, but the aura is covered by something, and even I can't see clearly. While walking, the dog-headed Taoist looked at Zhang Li, a little confused. Could it be that he is an acquaintance? And in Zhang Li's Taoist scenery, it's really this dead dog. The little turtle opened his mouth, and a flash of excitement suddenly flashed in the turtle's eyes, saying, "There's something fun." They were above the giant lake. This lake is the foundation of the Great Formation. The rotating Forbidden Lord explained. The most important thing is the four corners. We need 4 distinguished guests, each with his own side. You activate the magic circle at the same time, the power gathered will push the seat and completely merge with the Great Seal of Samsara. At that time, reincarnation will appear, and you will be the great heroes. He smiled and said, "Everyone, I will give you 1 day to familiarize yourself with the magic circle. Tomorrow, you will be able to control reincarnation." Immediately, everyone headed towards the corner of the formation that they were responsible for. This formation is so difficult. Xuanhuan looked at the formation diagram in his hand and felt a headache. He basically has no accomplishments in battle tactics. But, fortunately, you don't need to understand this too much. You can just start it as shown in the picture later. Owner. At this time, Lord Meiji Shangjin opened his mouth and said, "This formation is used to control reincarnation, that is something legendary." His eyes were full of temptations and he said, "Aren't you excited?" Xuanhuan shook his head and said, "I don't want to die." Meiji Zhang became anxious and said, "Master, please think again. A great opportunity is right in front of you now. As long as you succeed, you will control reincarnation. You can control me, and you can certainly control the Lord of Reincarnation. When the time comes, I will trick him into coming over. I wish you a helping hand and make him your slave, and take over the reincarnation along the way. Wouldn't it be great?" Along the way, Meiji Zhang has been thinking. Today's forbidden ancient road, I am completely finished. He cannot return to the 9th origin clan, and because he has missed too many years, he is not qualified to participate in the competition for reincarnation. Now, instead, I can only follow Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan is not going to get ahead, and he himself has no time to get ahead. So he decided to personally train Xuanhuan into a giant. Imagine, after Xuanhuan takes control of reincarnation, will I still be of use to him? Does he still think highly of himself? When the time comes, he can let himself go and let himself be a forbidden master again. How great! This is how to save the country through curves. Therefore, he kept teasing Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan originally had no interest in reincarnation, but when he heard Meiji Zhang say, "controlling the reincarnation master," he suddenly thought that Meiji Zhang is also the Forbidden Lord, and the rotating Forbidden Lord is also the Forbidden Lord. Since Meiji Zhang's bones can allow him to upgrade and unblock the small black tower, the rotating Forbidden Lord should be able to do the same. Reincarnation doesn't matter, but upgrading is still very important. He was suddenly moved. "What you said is not unreasonable." Xuanhuan gritted his teeth. It seemed that he could only take risks. When the time comes, you can trick him into coming over and take a look. When Meiji Zhang heard this, he immediately became excited and said, "Master, don't worry, it's up to me. According to the master's instructions, we need to set up 7 additional formation flags. In this way, the power of the ritual can be gathered at me, thus replacing the rotation." The messenger of Yuxu suddenly whispered as he entered the corner of the magic circle he was responsible for. At this moment, his eyes emitted a dark light and he took out 7 formation flags. The moment these 7 formation flags appeared, yellow rotting corpse water flowed out from the shroud wrapped around his body. He numbly moved the 7 formation flags into the formation where he was, and murmured. When the time comes, he will die in his turn, and I will take his place. The other side. Wow, who is it? It must be an acquaintance. The dog-headed Taoist was still confused. It is the Dao fruit left by the big black dog in the grey mist sea. It has not gone to the underworld, so it does not know about the rebirth of the 10 lords and 2 evils. In addition, both Zhongli and Zhongli were wearing village masks, making it impossible to determine for a while. Wow, forget it, I have to study the formation carefully. Its dog eyes exuded a light that was like peering through the avenue as it examined the formation. Wrong. Suddenly, it discovered that there was some kind of black secret energy flowing in the magic circle that the Nether Void envoy was in charge of. Did the Black Hand finally take action? The big black dog had dark eyes and said coldly. I want to steal reincarnation, what a pity, I am here. It immediately began to study the magic circle. However, as he studied hard, he felt his head was getting big. Wow, formation is not my strong point. If you want to snatch the power of the ritual from the netherworld messenger, the magic circle required is too complicated. A bit, over the top. The big black dog gritted his teeth and said. Wow, don't worry, let's mess up Blackhand's magic circle first. It immediately began to set up its formation. The formation it sets up cannot be stolen directly, but it can be destroyed. When the Great Formation begins to operate, the Great Formation and the Dark Envoy Dark Formation will be destroyed, and the power of the ritual will overflow violently. At the same time, the rotating Forbidden Lord will also be sniped to death. In this way, no one can gain the power of reincarnation. Stop it first. Wow, what a pity. If that dead turtle was here, I'm sure he would have tricked these guys to death. The big black dog's eyes are filled with regret. Such a good opportunity, but the damn turtle is not here. Another corner. Zhongli, Little Turtle, and Qi Xuanming were studying the formation. This formation, why do I feel like there is an undercurrent surging? Under the surface of those 2 corners, there are secret powers of other formations flowing. Qi Xuanming spoke in surprise. He is the ancestor of chess, and his chess skills have already been extremely high. In addition, he has been practicing in the village for so long and is extremely powerful. He has already noticed the abnormality of the formation. Zhongli thought. The secret formation set up by the Nether Void envoy is to steal the power of the ritual and kill the lord of the rotating Forbidden City along the way. And the dark formation laid out by Da He is to destroy the operation of the Great Formation and the Dark Envoy's Dark Formation, and kill the Lord of the rotating Forbidden City along the way. Well, we can just take advantage of the situation. After Da He's magic circle is activated, the power of the ritual will overflow everywhere. We can just gather together. He was ready to take action. However, at this time, the little turtle said. Wait a moment. Its tortoise eyes glowed and said. Tomorrow when the ritual starts, those old ghosts who escaped from reincarnation, and even the black hands behind the netherworld messenger, will definitely be watching this place. In this case, we will be exposed, no. We have to find someone who takes the blame. When Zhongli heard this, he immediately had a premonition of something and said. You shouldn't be. The little turtle said. Da He is so dark, he won't mind. After saying that, the little turtle started to do things on the spot. Zhongli looked at the little turtle and was silent for a while before saying. It's not good for you to do this. The little turtle said, don't be too soft-hearted. Zhongli said. What I mean is that you are just letting Da He take the blame and forget to wipe out the rotating Forbidden Lord and the 10th Source clan along the way. It's not good. As he spoke, he directly changed the little turtle's formation. When the little turtle saw this, he immediately choked up and felt complicated, saying. It's so careless. Words like soft-hearted and soft-hearted have nothing to do with you, who is not a human being. Xuanming stood aside and subconsciously glanced at the energetic and joyful Lord of the Will in the sky. This kid is a little pitiful. The formation has 4 corners in total. The formations at 3 of the corners have been changed by others, and they all want to kill him along the way. That is to say, Xuanhuan is kinder and not tampering with others. Xuanming couldn't help but sigh. At this moment, on the sky dome in the center of the formation, the Lord of the Rotation Forbidden City looked in 4 directions, and he was already familiar with the formation. He was so pleased, so happy that he was speechless. How can I be so virtuous and capable that I can have so many experts helping me? Reincarnation will happen, it will happen. He was simply moved and said, "Come here, I want to open the broken underworld immediately and report to the adults in the broken underworld. Invite them to witness the miracle tomorrow. Good night." Fantasy, I'm really not an unparalleled expert. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 1041. This is a mysterious world that seems not to exist in reality. A faint breath of reincarnation lingers, and countless ghosts sleep in the darkness. I just got the news. Tomorrow, the reincarnation will start the ritual and control the reincarnation. An old ghost whispered. When the time comes, we will be free. In the dark and ruined underworld, the chatter of many ghosts suddenly resounded. The circle of reincarnation is like a double-edged sword. While it allows our souls to be immortal, it also binds us, allowing us to stay in the ruined underworld or the Taoist landscape of cultivators, unable to enter reality. Once we enter reality, the cycle of reincarnation will weaken our strength and make us weak. When the authority of reincarnation is restored, the loop of reincarnation can be unlocked, and only then can we truly be free between heaven and earth. These ghosts are all looking forward to it. Sir, after the Lord of Reincarnation takes control of the power of reincarnation, will he rebel? An old ghost asked questions to an existence somewhere. After holding the power of reincarnation, the Lord of Reincarnation can control the ghosts in the underworld with the help of the Great Seal of Reincarnation. In the darkness, a powerful and indifferent voice sounded. If he rebels, just kill someone else. The power of reincarnation, I allow him to control it, so he is qualified to control it. If you go against my will, you will be punished. At the same time, somewhere along the forbidden ancient road, the light and shadow are chaotic, the smell of decay is exuding, even the rules of the space have been corroded, and time seems to have stopped here. A burial pit was filled with mist, and the thick grey mist seemed to be mixed with a wisp of black mist. Clang clang clang. It was the sound of iron chains, and a sleeping figure suddenly woke up from the grave. His whole body was wrapped in a shroud, his face looked like it was pieced together with rotten flesh, his 2 eyeballs almost fell out, and even the clothes on his body were made of grey human skin. Yes, as ordered. The rot slave whispered numbly, talking to someone unknown, and then climbed out of the burial pit with an iron chain in hand. The next day, the entire 10th Source clan, all the walking dead, ghosts, etc., are waiting at the edge of the giant lake. The Lord of the Reincarnation Forbidden City respectfully invited the Great Seal of Reincarnation out from the Reincarnation Palace. Today is the time to take control of reincarnation. The Lord of Reincarnation shouted loudly and raised the Great Seal of Reincarnation in his hand. The Great Seal of Reincarnation is not complete, just a corner, but it exudes mysterious and unpredictable power, as if it is connected to a mysterious world, as if it can dominate all living beings. The large formations spread throughout the giant lake were slowly activated. The Great Seal of Reincarnation in the hand of the Lord of the Rotation was immediately enveloped by the power of the formation. It left the hand of the Lord of the Rotation and floated directly above the center of the lake. Various mysterious powers are blessing the Big Seal, and there seems to be yellow smoke floating vaguely. In the yellow smoke, there seemed to be a pair of ethereal ghost eyes, watching this place. Those are the old ghosts sleeping in the ruined underworld. Yesterday, the rotating Forbidden Lord had already conveyed the news to them, so today, they all opened their eyes and were waiting. Everyone, please join the battle. The Lord of the rotating Forbidden City spoke to the Nether Messenger, dog-headed Taoist, Xuanhuan, Zhongli, and others who were standing aside. Immediately, Zhongli and others stepped forward and directly entered the formations they were responsible for. The formation is on. The rotating Forbidden Lord shouted loudly. He also stepped forward and stood next to the Great Seal of Reincarnation. Later, he will use the power of the ritual formation to give himself complete control over reincarnation. Meanwhile, below. Boom! The four-sided formation suddenly started. At this moment, the terrifying aura overflowed from the huge lake, and the aura of grey mist and black and yellow auras spread everywhere. In the lake, big waves suddenly rolled in, and swollen and rotten corpses floated up from the bottom of the water, densely packed everywhere. Pale bone claws poked out of the water, and the ghost's wail shook the source. In this giant lake, almost 2/3 of the members of the 10th Source clan are buried. For the sake of reincarnation, they became sacrifices, the price of sacrifice. Under the giant lake is the Grey Mist Source Eye of the 10th Source clan. With the help of this Grey Mist Source Eye, you can inspire power beyond the present world and directly touch reincarnation. In the sky, the Lord of the rotating Forbidden City was very expectant and said loudly. 4 of you, your four-corner array, is ready to operate. Now, the formation has begun to operate, only the four corners of the resonance held by the Nether Messenger and others are left. Those who enter the dead, those who reward and punish, those who are saved, and those who are reincarnated, the four palm formations representing reincarnation will open the door to reincarnation for him. Hearing this, at this moment, the Yxu messenger in the formation showed a sneer in his eyes. He raised his hand and activated the great formation here. At the same time, the other formations where Xuanhuan, Kota Taoist, and Zhongli were located were also activated. Boom! A deafening scream suddenly erupted from the entire lake. Those dead resentful souls and unwilling ghosts were struggling fiercely at this moment. Their souls were refined and became sacrifices for the formation. Countless resentful souls dissipated, and their previous resentment completely disappeared, forming a terrifying force that whispered to reincarnation and expressed the desire for life. The resentment of dead souls can push open the door of reincarnation. I will control reincarnation for the common people, extinguish the resentment of living souls and extinguish the hatred of dead souls. The Lord of the rotating Forbidden City shouted loudly. He spoke righteously and said sternly, "My Lord, the common people, is in charge of reincarnation." As he waved, the force that could almost push away reincarnation immediately gathered towards him. Feeling that terrifying power gradually filling his body, the Lord of the Will seemed to be about to climax, his heart was surging, and he had reached the pinnacle of his life. I will become the Yama Lord of the 10th Palace. He spoke excitedly. But, the words just fell. Boom! Suddenly, black energy circulated in the magic circle operating below. This energy rose directly into the sky, covering the entire formation, completely cutting off the connection between this place and the outside world. Even the dilapidated underworld's gaze on this place was blinded for a moment. The formation ceremony suddenly became chaotic. The power that was gathering towards the Lord of Reincarnation, attacking the Great Seal of Reincarnation at this moment, suddenly changed its direction and headed towards the Netherworld Messenger. At the same time, there was a black formation of light that turned into a heavenly sword and slashed down towards the Lord of the rotating Forbidden City. No. When the Lord of the rotation Forbidden City saw this, he was horrified. How is this going? The Great Seal of Reincarnation was actually taken away, and even the resentment of the dead souls was lost. Moreover, That terrifying heavenly sword has fallen with a crash. My lords, help me! The rotating Forbidden Lord shouted, but the connection between the broken underworld and this place had been severed, and he could not get help from the old ghosts in the broken underworld. At the critical moment, the rotating Forbidden Lord immediately crushed a death talisman. Boom! The black sky knife slashed past, and the rotating Forbidden Lord disappeared directly from the scene. And at this moment, the black aura was flowing, and the resentment of the dead souls caused by the grand formation ceremony swept through the great seal of reincarnation and headed towards the direction of the netherworld messenger. Reincarnation, will return to my lord. A powerful black light burst out from the eyes of the nether messenger. He takes action to catch the great seal of reincarnation. The great seal of reincarnation belongs to me. At this moment, the lord of the rotating forbidden city suddenly reappeared from the void. He used the death talisman to block the disaster and reappeared. His face was a little pale, but he was extremely anxious and used his magic with all his strength to regain control. The Forbidden Lord of Reincarnation has been working with the Great Seal of Reincarnation for many years. When he took action at this moment, the Great Seal of Reincarnation actually stopped slightly, and the speed of flying towards the Nether Void Messenger suddenly slowed down. And, if you want to die, I will kill you again. The Nether Messenger spoke indifferently, and with a snap of his fingers, a rotten black aura swept over him. Messenger, this belongs to me. The rotating Forbidden Lord tried his best. But, right now. Boom. Suddenly, the entire lake exploded like thousands of nuclear bombs were buried, and the original ritual formation exploded. A large amount of lake water was evaporated, and the floating corpses vaporized and disappeared, revealing a large pit at the bottom of the lake. After the viscous lake water disappeared, there was only one spring left in the pit, and countless grey mist gushes out of the spring. That is the foundation for the 10th Source clan to settle down and live their lives, the Grey Mist Spring. The Grey Mist Spring is also the source of the Forbidden Ancient Road and even the source of the Grey Mist Chi in the Grey Mist Sea. At this moment, the power of the formation was in chaos. Even the black secret magic circle was scattered by the impact. Kobold Taoist, it's you. The Yuxu messenger was shocked and looked towards the dog-headed Taoist. He has already seen that this terrifying power comes from the corner of the magic circle that the dog-headed Taoist is responsible for. There is no doubt that the other party must have tampered with it. Hero-headed man, please give me a helping hand. The rotating Forbidden Lord, already on the verge of collapse, spoke hurriedly. However, as soon as he finished speaking, a huge dog paw appeared in the sky and earth, and slapped it down towards him. Nima, are you a traitor too? At this moment, the lord of the rotating forbidden city was immediately indignant. Why, among the 4 people in charge of the formation, there were actually 2 moles. What else could they do? The terrifying dog claws had fallen. He gritted his teeth and took out a supreme bone weapon again. Boom. The supreme bone weapon exploded, but the lord of the rotation forbidden city disappeared from the sky. But now, the entire ritual formation is in complete chaos. The resentful power of the dead souls generated by the great formation has lost its guidance and is attacking the great seal of reincarnation. It is spreading wildly between heaven and earth, and no one can get it. Bitch, I'm going to kill you. The messenger of Yuxu was furious and extremely angry. He never expected that this dog-headed Taoist would actually make him fail. But at this moment, the dog-headed Taoist suddenly transformed into a big black dog and said, "Wow, you, a black slave, are you worthy of shouting in front of this emperor? If you have the ability, let the black hand behind you come out. I can't feed him to death." With its head held high, it is said to be unscrupulous. Although the messenger of Yuxu was furious, he didn't pay much attention to the big black dog. He flew up and headed towards the great seal of reincarnation. No matter what, controlling reincarnation is the most important thing. But, At this moment, in the void, the figure of the rotating Forbidden Lord appeared again. "Maid, reincarnation is mine." He was panting, his breath was confused, and grey blood was flowing from the corners of his mouth. As soon as he appeared, he saw the messenger of Nether Void heading towards the Great Seal of Samsara. "Don't even think about it." He took action to stop the messenger of Yuxu. "No matter who you are or what your origins are, if you appear in this world, you can only exert your forbidden strength. How can I be afraid of you?" The rotating Forbidden Lord took action with all his strength and was immediately at loggerheads with the Nether Void envoy. But, right now. Boom. Suddenly, another formation flag lit up below, and a terrifying formation power erupted from around the big black dog, directly drawing the frenzied resentment of the dead souls and the Great Seal of Reincarnation towards the big black dog. "This bitch actually has a backup plan." The Nether Messenger was shocked. He originally thought that the big black dog had taken action just now. "But I didn't expect that this dog could not only destroy his own magic circle, but also steal reincarnation. How dare you? Damn it, this is mine." The rotating Forbidden Lord even shouted loudly. Both of them were heading towards the big black dog. At this moment, the big black dog stood there, stunned. It was stunned. "Woof, it seems like, I don't seem to have set up such a formation, right? It's covered."